Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
There it is. Got to get Ireland in there once again. Welcome back into Inside the Game here on this Monday morning, the 17th day of November. I'm Jonathan Turner. That's the Irishman himself, Mr. Nathan Wangler, who watched his Ireland side yesterday win, 3-2 over Hungary? Is that, and in the death, in the 96th minute, put one home, and they punched their ticket. Close. It's close. It's super close, though.
They're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs, right? I mean, punched their ticket in the playoff. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, unbelievable. And Troy Parrott, hat trick to do it. That was his third. You're right, in the depth. I mean, that's the equivalent of, when I look at that, that's the equivalent of a walk-off slam. That's the equivalent of a Hail Mary to win a game. I mean, they needed that bad. That was their last chance, and that ball in, the way he was able to put that in the back of the net, and just the reaction, not only from the Irish fans in the stadium, but a lot of them on social media was hilarious. Just this roller coaster of emotions from what happened against Portugal, realizing that it's probably not going to happen. They won that game, and then that miracle at the end of that match was just, I don't. And I haven't been watching this game for nearly as long as you guys have, or following the game for nearly as long as you guys have. But I don't think I've ever seen something quite like that. I mean, that feels like a once in a decade kind of play to win a game. That was
they're gonna have, obviously they get in, it will change. They can go and win this playoff game. I think the thing that sucks is that they obviously have this one game, right? We saw this many years ago, right? If I'm not mistaken, again, this is off memory, so Ryan, you might know this better, but France, right? Didn't they have to play in a playoff game here once upon a time? And that was when they had, Henri use the handball?
Oh, yeah, you're right. The phantom handball. I forgot who that was. But
I believe it was a World Cup qualifying, qualifying playoff game that got them into.
It was against Ireland, to go to the 2010 World Cup. Yeah, that's right.
So that's the thing, right? It's like how do you make your way in? And so I think it's great. By the way, it's great for the game of soccer. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's great for soccer as a whole, especially if you're a fan of the game, watching it here and you're seeing it across the pond. It makes you want to love the game more. But
what's wild is that this is just qualifiers. We're not even into the World Cup yet. I feel like the most drama and excitement is still yet to come. That we're just qualifying right now. So. That's what made it wild.
That's again, we've seen it with the U.S. men's national team back in 2018 where they didn't even make it, right? And they fell short, right? And so they didn't even make it to a playoff game, right? And so, but either way, welcome in everybody on this Monday morning. I know that Nate likes to show off his Ireland pride here when he sees his side get the victory, and hopefully they'll have a chance here in the playoff time to be able to do that as well. I imagine that playoff game is going to happen here pretty quick because, again, the draw is taking place in less than 3 weeks.
I don't
imagine it's got either way. But Ryan Glinsky, our producer, I'm Jonathan Turner. That's Nathan Wangler. And I have a gripe this morning that I have to get to. I do. I do. I have to say something this morning. We were talking Detroit Lions before we got on the show. That's not my gripe, though. I think it's important. I premise this because, guys, this is going to come out left field for both of you, okay? So my lovely son, Nathan, right, who I love very much.
Good way to start the story.
As Nate has said, this is my karma. He is my karma. I every day that I get to know my son more and more, and how much I love him continues to grow, I also realize that I am seeing myself in a lot of different ways. One of those ways is the way in which he argues, which I think is fantastic, by the way. He is just like me. But my son got himself into some trouble again, and as a punishment, my daughter Brianna has the iPhone 14. He has an iPhone 16, and what can I do? I can just swap those out, right? Give him the old phone, give her the new phone, and yeah, that's the penalty you get to pay, right? That's the great thing about being a father. It sounds unfair, but he doesn't pay the bill, I do. So, anyways, yesterday, our daughter Zoe had to go to my aunt and uncle invited her to go watch The Wizard of Oz in person at play at a theater in Howell, and she did that. So we met them out in Novi yesterday, or as AI says, Novi.
Novi. Yep, good place.
out in Novi yesterday, and dropped them off at around 11 o'clock in the morning. And so we had like 5 or 6 hours to kill before we saw them again. I didn't want to drive all the way back home because 696 is a shit show. Like,
especially coming back,
it is terrible.
Especially going east,
it's like great. Awful. So it's like we'll stay out in Novi today. And so we got some breakfast, went to Home Depot. Am I starting to sound like old school here?
Wait. Did you go to the Home Depot in like Birmingham, Royal Oak area?
No, I went to the Home Depot in Novi.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna. That is the worst Home Depot of all time.
So we went to Home Depot.
Birmingham.
We walked around, did some things. We're planning to do some painting around the house. So I was looking at some paint. And then we went over. We were thinking while we were at breakfast, how about watching a movie? It's a good way to kill a couple hours, right? So we were like, let's go watch The Running Man. And so we had that scheduled for at 2:20 to go. Oh no, yeah, 2:20 or 2:40. Sorry, 2:40 to go watch that. But I had to make this change on the phone, so I'm like, let's go to T-Mobile. There's one right here in Novi. We went to T-Mobile, got in there, and they're like, there's like 4 people ahead of you, so it'll be probably about an hour. We're like, well, it's like 12:15, so that kills an hour. Fine, we'll hang out here. And we were watching some of the Madrid football game at T-Mobile yesterday.
Attaboy, Mariota.
45 minutes into our wait, guy from T-Mobile comes over and says, just so you know, we do everything through the app now, so if you want to hop in the app, you can do everything there.
The way I would have crashed out, man. Oh.
Can you turn up Nate a little bit? I can barely hear him.
The way
it's not Nate though; it's our computer system.
We better hear. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's on us. But I'm sitting there going like, what? They're like, yeah. I go and I'm explaining. I can do it in the app. They're like, yeah, you can do it in the app. I go, why the hell am I even here then? He's like, that's a great question because I think they're trying to get rid of our stores. That's exactly what he said to me. I was like, wow. I go, I mean, it's bad enough that I have to go bag my own groceries and check myself out at the grocery stores now. I have to also go to McDonald's and place my own order off of a thing. I mean, am I receiving any discounts for this at all? I mean, do I save any money doing things myself? I mean, I used to work at Kroger when I was 13 years old. I was a bagger. Yeah. You know, now I go to Kroger. I've actually been promoted to the cashier and the bag. I do both. I'm literally both now. At T-Mobile, why do I even need someone? They might as well just make me make the phone now, too. I think they should just send us a make-your-own-phone kit.
Yeah. Well, what makes me sad, I love the whole DIY stuff. I mean, I don't mind, like door dashing and all those things and just making life easier on me. Like the whole kiosk thing, I think is hilarious, especially when it comes like you go into McDonald's now. Like you're not going to get helped by a person. You're just going to do the kiosk and then they bring it out to you and everything. And I love automation and apps and online and all that stuff. What makes me sad though is that like those are jobs that people are like losing out on. I realize like working at T-Mobile is not what you want to aim for in life, but it's like, what's the problem with me actually going in there and being face to face with someone that can help me? Like, why are owners getting rid of those jobs just so that they can automate and be like, oh, you can do everything?
They're not
on
getting
the
rid of
app
the jobs
now.
they want to automate. They're getting rid of the jobs because we are unreliable as human beings. That is the reason why everything's changed the way it is. We are unreliable.
They want to meet the bottom line, JT.
No, dude, I'm telling you this right.
They want to pay people.
But bottom line or not, if you have a machine that will show up every single time without giving you any problems,
yeah, efficiency. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's 100%. I mean, because again, for every we deal with it in our world. In AI land, there's AI cameras. Why? Because you can't find a human being that's going to go do all that. You got to find a body, and then you got to pay them cheaper. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, a VO camera costs $3,500 a year. That's what a VO camera costs. And if you have more than one, as a club, you have a big club, you might have 10 of them. You're paying $35,000 a year for a camera. You could literally pay a human being to do that job, but good luck finding a human being that could do all those games. You couldn't. Yeah. And so while I agree that AI technology and machinery and all these things will help increase productivity, increase the bottom line, is what you're saying, Nate, which is entirely true. Mm-hmm. Along the way, you're losing the ability to connect with customers.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, while that might not be a thing that I think that like Ryan's generation cares about the connection, because he grew up in a world that was disconnected and connected at the same time. Because while we were all connected to each other, we were absolutely disconnected.
Yeah.
I mean,
isn't that weird? Yeah.
It's crazy,
I
right?
agree.
We are all connected, but at the same time, we're disconnected. It does. Because I
the algorithm
don't know
has built a little world that everyone could just exist in, and that's the scariest part. You know, it just like creates this little bubble that you can always exist in, although you are connected to people. But yeah, no, you're right, 100%.
It's and that's the thing. Like you get there and I'm waiting 45 minutes, and then now I'm just pissed. Now I'm like, I want to go to AT&T or Verizon just because they told me to do this. That's where I'm at with my service with T-Mobile. You know, is that how we want to treat people? I mean, and again, that might not have anything to do with the store at all, but it's like, you're in there waiting, and like I walked into Red Robin last night for dinner. Like, it's going to take 25 minutes. Okay, great. There's an interaction there, and it took 15 minutes to get to a table. There wasn't like, hey, by the way, 25 minutes into your wait, we don't have any tables anymore. Like, or like, we're closed. No, it's like mm-hmm. That's the definition of what happened. That's my gripe this morning. I understand that we're all trying to get better, and we're trying to get bigger. We're trying to save money, make money. We're trying to connect, and we're trying all these things, but just, we can't lose focus on the fact that people are walking into your building who are ready to pay money, and you're going to brush them off as if they don't give a shit. You don't give a shit about them. That's the problem that I have. Not the problem that they have tech. If you would have said, hey, when I walked in, hey, by the way, you can do everything through the app. We're here to assist you in any way that we can. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
But he's just saying they're trying to get rid of their stores. That's what I meant. So that probably means that he's going to be out of a job at some point. I mean, unless it
absolutely
looks like it's going to change. But yeah, you're right.
Well, hey, we got a great show lined up for you this Monday morning. Number 191 currently underway here today. We'll talk about the U.S. men's national team. Great victory. Great? Is it what we call great victory against Paraguay here on Saturday? Gio Reyna having a game. We'll talk about that. Do I have to put my foot in my mouth? Or did I put my foot in my mouth on Friday? We'll talk about that. I mean, hey, why not, right? Do I have to eat some crow here today? We'll find out here on the other side of the break. You're watching number 191 here this Monday morning.
Experience the thrill that came like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Welcome back this morning. It's Monday. Start of a brand new week. Number 191. I'm Jonathan Turner, Nathan Wangler, Ryan Glinsky, our producer. This is my last show here. Not my last show. My last show before I come back on Wednesday. I am leaving tomorrow morning. While you guys are on the show, I'll be in the air heading to Tampa, Florida, where I'll be doing some business meetings and having some appointments, and also going to the U.S. men's national team game tomorrow night. I'll absolutely be taking videos of that here as well, and we'll get excited about that. Hey, during our commercial break, Mac Jack hopped in the chat. He was talking about obviously mentioning the whole cell phone thing during our conversation. but was like, hey, let's talk about this MLS schedule. Well, we did talk about that last week. I will be the first one. We'll be like the third one to tell you this. We did talk about it last week on the show. I think it's great, and we've dove into it. I don't know if there's anything specific that we need to add to this other than the fact that, again, the MLS is going to be following, the across the pond, the European schedule, right, moving forward, starting in 2027. I think the biggest takeaway that some people were concerned about, why wouldn't this start like right after the World Cup? Why are we waiting? I just think, again, when it comes to logistics and trying to pull this all off, you just can't do it in like less than a year. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. And so I think that's probably the biggest reason as to why we're not going to see it happen right after the World Cup. You got to work it all in. I mean, you're talking about, advertisers, all the people who are involved currently in all of this, all that has to be redone because now you're changing things. And if you're an advertiser who's used to putting money in during this time period, you might be one to put money in a different time period, and or whatever it might be, and that might change everything. So there's a lot that has to go into all this, and I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why we won't see a change until 2027. But the U.S. men's national team. Wait a second, Mick Jake's got a question. If Minnesota United sold Tanny with this new schedule, is that am I reading that right?
Yeah, Tani Oluwasi. See, I can't pronounce it. So
Tani Oluwasi. Okay.
Yeah, he plays for Canada. Probably. Yeah, you still would. You would still sell him to Villarreal. But no, I don't think it would have mattered regardless. But maybe you would have gotten a little bit more money for him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are all what ifs. I don't know if I get the what if game. I'd like to get more involved in the U.S. men's national team conversation. To be fair, we got pretty heated here on Friday. I was pretty stuck in my bootstraps or my footing, whatever you want to call it, here on Friday, talking about Gio Reyna specifically. And it's almost as if Gio Reyna was like, I was watching Jonathan Turner on Friday and how I'm not making this World Cup team, and decided 3.5 minutes into the game on Saturday that he was going to show me a thing or two. It's not that he was, but it's almost like, all of the haters out there who have been hating on Gio Reyna, this kid decided to put that, deep inside himself and become something that he hasn't been for this team in some time. And he did it in spades on Saturday night. Not only was he an integral part, obviously scoring the first goal, but also the second goal, right? That ball coming across in the box, he doesn't make that pass. It doesn't happen. And so I've got credit is due as where credit is deserved, right? And so I'm going to give him his credit because he had a fantastic game. And, if you're trying to fight for a spot, this is how you do it. Right. And again, everyone I talk to, the things I continue to see about Gio Reyna is that he still is not in a place where he's made this team. But now he is in the conversation where at least if he can have another good game tomorrow night and do some similar things, and create this buzz about him, I think it does put him in the conversation to make this World Cup roster. And so, again, I'm still standing by my original statement, which I don't think he makes this team, but I think he's in a much better place than he was on Friday.
Very quickly, I don't want to completely sidetrack our conversation because I do have a lot to talk about when it comes to that. I just wanted to say this really quickly because this is a sports podcast. Rest in peace, John Beam, former head coach at Laney College, Last Chance U.
That's true.
That's one of my favorite TV shows of all time, man. That wasn't fair, especially with everything he did in that community in Oakland, and just how many kids he helped kind of pull out of the gutter, to say the least, and really develop them into young men. So rest in peace, John Beam. But talking about this game for the U.S. men's national team, one of those stats that you look at and you're like, there's no way that's actually real, is the stat that came out about Gio Reyna after he scored that goal against Paraguay. At age 23, he now has more international goals than his father, Claudio Reyna, which is just bizarre to me because obviously we know the respect that Claudio has in being in what he did on the U.S. men's national team. A lot of people that regard him as one of the best to play in his position. So to surpass his dad at just 23 is crazy to me, but it shows just how promising the start of Gio Reyna's career was on the international team and just how sidetracked it got. by the 2022 drama in the World Cup and obviously the injuries and the other things that have kept him out of being able to compete with this team for a while. So I think the thing that is probably the most refreshing to see for Gio is that I think a lot of people forgot exactly what this kid presents for this team, exactly what this kid could do for this U.S. men's national team. And that's why I said, during our last conversation, is that the biggest focus this weekend is Gio Reyna. What can he do to show everybody that he at least belongs to be in the conversation for this U.S. men's national team? And I thought Mauricio Pochettino had a lot of really good things to say about him, after the match as well. But I thought the way that he moved with Fuller and Balogun looked really good at the same exact time. I thought they communicated well. Obviously, you saw the connection at the very end. I said this in my recap video because I do genuinely believe it, right? From a talent perspective, I do think Gio Reyna has a very realistic chance of being on this team and being a significant contributor on this team. But sometimes it takes one good showing in order to flip that narrative from what the discourse was going into the game. And now you see, obviously, he's getting support all over the place. Jude Bellingham was showing his support on Instagram, which I thought was really cool. Flo Balogun had a lot of great things to say. Mauricio Pochettino's really high on this kid. I mean, he had a lot of really good quotes after the game, and clearly he's made an impression. So I think for him, we talked about this is his last chance, and that was a pretty good first go around because I think he used all that pressure that's been put on his shoulders from U.S. men's national team fans to go out and really put on a show. So I still think there's a lot in the tank for Gio Reyna, and obviously because of bad injuries or character issues early in his career, that has all held him back. But I still think he has a real shot to make some noise. And I can't believe that he surpassed his dad in goals. That's wild to me. I didn't know that he was on the hook to do that.
Before we get Ryan into this, I think it's important, and I don't disagree with you, but I talked about this on Friday, and I tried to do it as best I could. But I don't know if I portrayed it as the way I wanted to, or came off or conveyed the way I wanted it to. But it's this, is that there's many reasons as to why Gio Reyna wasn't on this roster up until this week. There's many reasons. It could be injuries or whatever. But I think the biggest one is that I don't think that Pochettino thought as highly of him as maybe we think he might have. Because, again, I look at this and say that if a coach wants to win, a coach wants to win now, a coach also wants to prepare his team for the future. And the only way you can do that is if they're there. If they're not there, can't do it. Now, there are some players, and we know this, and we can all say this as players who've played the game, right? We've been on a team, that there were players that didn't show up to practice that still played in the game. Sometimes it pissed you off. This is the best player didn't come to practice. Coach broke a rule, right? And we know Pulisic, right, didn't play. Every time he's on that roster, that guy's going to start, especially in meaningful games, right? We know that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a firm believer that if Gio Reyna, up until this weekend, was in the conversation, could have been on this team, he would have been there already. And so that's why I made the statement that I felt like this was more like a charity thing for him. They're like, hey, I'm trying to maybe I got people in my ear. Maybe I got coaches going, hey, we got to give Reyna a chance. We got to give him a chance. If we don't give him a chance, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, which is very possible. And so, and to be fair, I think based on the circumstances, very realistic. And now that here he is, he goes out there and does what he does. It's a win-win for Pochettino. He can come, oh, yeah, this guy's a great kid. Oh, this is great. Greatest player we've seen in a long time. Well, if that was the case, why wasn't he here 3 weeks ago? Why wasn't he here a month ago? Why wasn't he here 2 months ago? Why wasn't he here 7 months ago? Like, why didn't he play? And I know that there's some injuries, things like that, but we've seen players who've come in banged up who have been given chances. We just talked about this with Richardson, didn't we? Richards, wasn't he hurt in the last whatever?
The last window, yes.
Yeah, and so he came in. Well, why was he there?
Because he don't give a
beep. So my perspective on this is it has not changed in the sense that while Gio Reyna very well based on how he played on Saturday has given himself a chance to be in this conversation. If he was a part of this team over the last year, and we've seen players like Luna and players like Berhalter, those players I don't think we're even talking. This isn't even a debate because we've already said that Berhalter is not as good as Reyna. We've already said that. We've already said that Diego Luna is not better than Reyna. So that's my perspective. My perspective hasn't changed on that, just because he went out and had a great game against a really good quality opponent. And so tomorrow, will he have the same level of play? Absolutely not. I mean, to be fair, you're going to see a drop possibly. But how does he respond? How does he handle it? And so that's where my head's at with this. And I know, Ryan, you've got some thoughts on this as well. I know Mech Jack's also been involved in the chat on TikTok. But I think highly of Reyna. But I just don't know if what he did, again, if he's back in the window in January, because we don't have a December window, right? It's a January window. So if he comes back in January as part of this process, then I would say that his chances obviously increase substantially. He's still not in the top 18, and he's still in that conversation. Again, maybe he's 28 right now on this roster. There's only 26, but maybe he's 28. And maybe tomorrow what he can do is push himself in, make himself into 27. Into 26, because I just don't know if we've seen enough, and that's the concern. Is that you have one showing, right? I mean, and so that's my thing. I think highly of him, especially if he can do this again, because again, we want players that will help us win. I just don't know if we've seen enough, over a 2-game window to really secure a spot for him. But it gives us now a talking point for the next 6 months for sure. Right, so we'll go ahead, Ryan. What are your thoughts on this?
Nate, on Saturday, John and I were doing a soccer game, and I started dying laughing when Reyna scored the goal. And he's like, "So why are you laughing?" I was like, "Cause Reyna scored the goal." And he goes, "No way, no, absolute way." I was like, "Just look at
4 minutes in, dude. We're sitting there. I'm sitting there like, look at the score. I'm like 4 minutes in, like son of a gun."
But it was
look at
funny.
This kid.
And I'm with Mech Jack in the chat where he said he was 18 in the last window, and that's 4 years ago. That's a long time for a young player. And I honestly think that I think Reyna probably mentioned it to his parents. It's like, "Man, I just wish I was playing out there." Like that's hard for a player like him who's been playing week in, week out all the time, and especially, he was making his way with Dortmund, with Haaland, Bellingham, as you mentioned earlier. Like, that all happened, and when that doesn't happen, I'm sure he probably just reacted to his parents the wrong way, and sometimes parents, I think, get in the way. Like, look at the Ball family, for example. Lonzo Lamela did not care for all that stuff. It was just LeVar doing his own thing. But I think that maybe Gio sat down with his parents, and I'm just speculating here. This I could be completely wrong, but I think he probably told him, "He's like, hey, you ruined it last time. Let just step away. Let me be Gio Reyna. Claudio, you already did your thing in the soccer world, especially for this national team. Let me be Gio." And I thought that he went out there and he just took care of business. Paraguay, they're a World Cup team. They already qualified, I believe, and so that's a World Cup team. Whether you want to argue that they're a real quality team, that's up for you to decide. But this is a World Cup team. And he did it out there. He was confident on the ball, and that's what you love to see. And I want him to play against Uruguay tomorrow. I really do. It depends on Pochettino, because you kind of see in his windows where someone will start. They won't start the second game, but they'll start the first game. So I really want to see him against a good quality opponent in Uruguay tomorrow. But hey, he took care of business. He gave himself a fighting shot. He gave himself the opportunity to be picked for this men's national team in the World Cup next year, and he played really well. He played really well, and I think that's something that we've been missing in terms of that creativity aspect.
Yeah. And to your point, Ryan, I mean, it's been a combination of things. First of all, helicopter parents, they'll see you out of a lot of situations a lot quicker than anything else, especially if it's the way that his father was and the way that they handled everything in 22. Like, I think in a lot of ways his dad, while he has helped him get to this point, and obviously having a last name like that is going to get you a lot more opportunities than it isn't, but I feel like he has done a lot to kind of damage or sidetrack his son's career, especially early in his career, than he has good. And so I think now that he's starting to maybe have this coming of age, I think even Gio is realizing, like, hey, you just have to let me be me, because I do think he is very creative on the ball. Mauricio Pochettino said that he can find the space in between the lines, and I think he showed that off against Paraguay. I thought he was outstanding in the way he was moving about the pitch. But the other side of the early part of his career that's derailed him has been the injuries. And I understand that we just kind of want to like, well, are you injured or you're hurt? Well, I don't think you can really pass over that because that's also sidetracked his club career as well. He hasn't been doing as well. He had a thigh strain late in September of this year. And that's just another in a long list of injuries that he's had. Hamstring, groin issues. I mean, the list just continues to grow. He's just one of those players that unfortunately might just be injury prone. And we've seen that. We've seen great athletes that have a lot of potential that unfortunately just can't stay healthy. They just, for one reason or another, they just can't stay on the field. I think of someone in a baseball example is like a Mike Trout. You know, he would have been one of the best hitters of all time. Yeah, but he's played what? How many games and how many years? It's just because every time he's back out there, he gets hurt again. So I think that we have to factor those things in. And I think, you know, we can't, some of that we can hold against Gio Reyna, obviously. A lot of it we can't, because it has just been things that have plagued him, whether it be his parents, whether it be the injuries. So again, that's why I thought this window was as important as it was. And for him to go out and execute on it, I thought was wonderful. And I would like to see him start the second game. I genuinely would. But I think if you just let Gio be Gio, I think we're really onto something here. I really do think we're really onto something here. And I think that night against Paraguay, they let Gio be Gio. And he showed everybody, I think, why he at least deserves to be in the conversation. Very quickly, though, someone else that I was really impressed with, Max Arfsten has looked really good. I mean, like, surprisingly so. 1 goal, 5 assists, and 15 matches for the U.S. men's national team. I think the kid's got a lot of potential. Now, he can be a little special on the ball sometimes. I think he tries to maybe get out of the box a little bit. But I like his creativity too. So Max Arfsten showed me a lot with this national team. So just pointing that out. But the other side, I think my favorite part of that whole matchup, JT, was the scuffle at the end. I love the mentality of this men's national team right now. It seems like every game they want the smoke. It seems like every game there's a brush up. Every game there's something. And they, you know, in the interviews afterwards, I forget who it was, but one of them was like, you know, we're playing this game at home. You know, we have a throw in late. They want to start doing cheap shots. We're all going to rally around. We're all going to run over there. And if they want to get into it, we can get into it. But we're playing here. And so we're not going to take that. And so I love that mentality going into 2026. That's great. That got me fired up. So not that I want to see two teams fight, but that's a good sign for, at least from a culture perspective for the men's national team. It's a very good sign for this team.
Yeah, I think, again, I think it's important, and we've talked about this, we'll probably beat it to death here at this point, but I think it's important to say that regardless of the reasons, and there could be a million reasons, that Gio Reyna wasn't in the mix over the last 6 months. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, and
you can't just toss context aside, man.
No,
like, that's all a part of the
my
story.
point, though, my perspective on this is not that you can toss context aside. Is that, but it doesn't. In a World Cup window, if he doesn't make this team because he was battling injuries for 7 months, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that Gio Reyna is not a good player. Gio Reyna is a good player. Is Gio Reyna the greatest player? No. Will he become a great player? Maybe. Will he contribute to this team in positive ways? I think it can be said that could happen. Again, he's still a young player, but his time also isn't over. It's not like we're looking at Gio Reyna going, man, this kid's 35 years old. This is his last World Cup, and he's battling the injury bug. No, he's a 22, 23-year-old player who's still trying to figure out his way in this world and still has plenty of World Cups ahead of him. He's got at least 2 World Cups, maybe 3 World Cups ahead of him still, right, if he is a solid player. And so I think those things can all be true at the same time if he doesn't make this roster. It also will go to show you that we are, as we've talked about, have a much deeper team than we've had in the past. And so if Gio Reyna doesn't make this team, what does that say about the team we put out there?
We have a good issue.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's also a thing, right? So if Reyna does not make this roster, is it a bad thing for Team USA? I would like to hope no, because that means we have found 26 players who are better. You know, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing, right? And so, anyways, and again, with knowing we know about Pochettino and what he's done as far as his career, I don't see Pochettino not putting a player on this roster who is going to give us a better chance of winning. I also believe that to be true, too. So if Reyna doesn't make this roster, I don't think it's because he's bad or because he's not good enough. It just means that there's other players who are playing better and are in a better position to give us what we need in order to win these soccer games. And I think that's an important thing to say at the same time while we're trying to figure out if Reyna will even make this team. And I think that's the thing that I was trying to convey the most, even I think on Friday as well. But either way, Mech Jack, by the way, in the comments saying Luna is not better. We talk about that all the time. Luna is not a better player than Reyna. I 100% agree with you on that.
He's just a story that everyone likes.
Well, I don't think it's just a story, but the intangibles right now that Luna brings are the same reason why Nate's fallen in love with him. He's the Rudy. No, I mean, be honest. He is a player that will lift players
the size
up
of Rudy.
Him,
I don't think he's Rudy.
No, I said he is the Rudy of this team.
The feel-good story.
He is a guy that if you look at it and say, where would he stack up on this team? He's not big enough. He's not tall.
Do you think they're chanting
Luna? I do. I do.
Luna.
I mean, so he has the intangibles, right? He's going to run through a wall. He's got this broken nose, bleeding everywhere. I mean, do you see the same? If you're telling me that you got a player who's less talented than another player, but will give you 1,000% more energy and 1,000% more effort on the field, who are you going to take? Yeah, again, especially when you're talking about a World Cup, because we're not going to win World Cup on talent. We've already talked about that. If we have a chance of going far in this tournament, it's going to be based on the fact that we're fighting people at the end of a game.
I think Gio is turning a page, though. I do think Gio is turning a page, though. I would hope so.
Well, we've got way more body of work with Luna on this team than we do right now than we do with Reyna. And so Reyna, as much as he had some success on Saturday, is going to have to do this tomorrow too.
But at the same time, though, when Luna's biggest moment was against Mexico in the Gold Cup, and yet bro didn't exist. He was nowhere to be seen, and that he was the spotlight, and he did nothing. So I don't know. I just think in Luna's biggest moments, he doesn't do anything.
Let's flip this. If Matt Turner has not played a lick, Matt Turner is not starting this World Cup. Can we all agree on this at this point in time? It's Matt Freese? Right? Because Freese played right on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Matt Freese. Yeah. He's the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
If tomorrow Matt Turner played tomorrow and had a lights-out game, would he automatically leapfrog Matt Freese?
No, but we'd have a really good conversation, though.
But I'm saying, would he leapfrog him?
No.
I think it's important to acknowledge that it's not one thing. It has to be consistency. What you've seen from Luna over this summer, good, bad, or indifferent, the coach has a consistency within this environment. He doesn't have that with other player like Reyna. And so Reyna is going to have to, unfortunately, do a lot more in a quick amount of time to be able to make his mark. And so hopefully we'll also see Reyna come January. Hopefully we'll see Reyna come February so that he's got not 2 games to look at, but 6 or 7 games to look at. Oh, boy. I just thought about that. Oh, boy.
But I will say, in the small sample size of Reyna, that's why I said that in the video I post out there, which make sure you're following us on socials, that's why I said he's put himself in the conversation. He's now in the mix. Reyna is not the starting right winger, starting 10. He's not that. But that performance yesterday, I guess you could say against all odds, he played well. He did a really good job, and that's exactly what he did. And Mekchek, great point from him. He goes, Luna is 100% the underdog, but Reyna is also an underdog, and if he plays like it, Luna will be gone, and I 100% agree with that. I mean,
I don't think Luna's going anywhere at this point. I think if anything happens, Luna's just going to be. I think Reyna would take a spot, and they'd be there together.
Luna would just be at the end of the bench just for the vibes. That's basically what Luna would be there for.
Yeah, he'd be somewhere on that 26-man roster. Again, because he's been there this entire summer. I mean, you're at this point, Pochettino loves this guy. And whatever he's doing,
a vibes guy, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's this is a person you want in the locker room that's going to just run through walls for players, and the players respect the shit out of that. I mean, they really do. And I think that's an important thing to talk about when you're talking about Reyna. I don't think Reyna had shown that. Now, if Reyna can, as part of this process within these camps, especially this window, continue to show what he can do, I think the conversation for him can be more meaningful.
And it's we don't. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, like, I wish I could be a bug on the wall in these training camps. I wish I could see these practices. I wish I could see these meetings, these sessions, coaches and players. I wish I could just be in the building. Like, I'm not here. I'm just over here, just watching. I know we got the documentary and everything, but like, I also feel like a lot of those opinions are formed in training as well. Like what do you show the people in those camps when you're there? Yes, what you do on the field is the most important. We've all acknowledged that. But I also think there is probably a stark difference between the way that Reyna handled training camps and everything earlier in his career, back when he was having all this drama, and the way he's handling it now. And we see this from the way that his teammates talk about him. And you could say, well, they're just trying to hype up their teammate. I think they mean it. I don't have any reason as to why they would go up to the media and just lie about Gio Reyna. I don't get that. So I wish we could see what actually happens inside of that building, because I feel like that would give all of us a better understanding of what exactly it is that we're talking about right now. Like, yes, we haven't seen him. There are reasons for that, though, like we've laid out, and not all of it his fault.
No, again,
I'm trying to say.
The reality is, we don't know all the context behind why Reyna hasn't been on this team. But I'll go back to it from a coaching standpoint. There's no reason why Reyna, if he was in the conversation, it would have taken this long to get him here. And so again, that's why I even made the statement that and you're talking about it. If we were, they always say this: what if you don't? If you put a frog in hot water or boiling water, it jumps out right away, right? But if you put a frog in cold water and slowly start to bring it to a boil, the frog will die, because it just, you're killing it slowly, right? And so right now, if we were to look at this and say, in the past, a year ago, if we would have envisioned this roster and where Reyna would be, would we all a year and a half ago said Reyna is absolutely on this roster? Would we have said that? Would he have made this World Cup team? Would we be saying, would be Luna even in the conversation? I don't think we'd be even talking about Luna a year and a half ago.
I don't think we knew Luna existed.
So it's like, but here we are. We're a year and a half later, and we're like, there's Reyna's first time on the roster in a year was in November camp.
Yeah,
like,
but
wait
he was hurt
this
for the
is a guy that was
September
on
and
the
October
22
window,
roster. Huh?
Yeah, but he was hurt for the last two windows.
No, when was prior to this window? When was the last time that Reyna was on a roster for the U.S. men's national team? The actual time period was
it was the Nations League when they lost to Panama and Canada.
March?
I was like March time.
Yeah,
I think.
Nations League. Okay.
March.
Yeah. So
But he hasn't started. I forgot the exact stat. He hasn't started a game in a long time before that, though.
Yeah.
But no, he's not been on a roster since March.
And so
he was doing more at 18 and 19 than Diego Luna's doing at 22 on the U.S. men's national team. So
no, I'm not disputing that, but those things don't matter in this window. They don't matter right now. Why I say that doesn't matter, Nate, is that clearly Luna, who's in the MLS, Pochettino doesn't give a shit about that. Pochettino is trying to find people and players who could have come in and affect change in a positive way. And so, again, the things that Reyna brought to the equation 4 years ago that gave him a spot on the team are also the same reasons why he wasn't in the conversation for a period of time over what happened there, right? There's something to be said about a young player who's got a lot of energy, but at the same time, that immaturity, that undiscipline that you kind of love and you hate. Right? It's that love and hate thing. And that's what Gio Reyna gave you. And we can talk about the helicopter parents, but to be fair, growing up in a household where your father is LeBron James or your father is Claudio, like you're growing up in a household and you have to measure yourself up to that name. He grew up, you said, he just surpassed his dad in goals. Reyna did. His dad was part of U.S. Soccer. He was a coach, right, for the U20s, wasn't he? Like the U19.
Probably.
I think he's like a coach for U20s. I mean, here you are. Your dad is up here. You're making this team. Is it nepotism? Is it valid that you're there in the first place? All these things are constantly going through your mind. And then when you don't make something, what do? You call daddy and say, Dad, what's going on here? Help me. And the next thing you know, it turns into what it turned into. But the fact is that Gio Reyna is a good player. We know that. Yep. But I keep saying that if Pochettino thought as highly of him as we all think that he does or could think of him, it wouldn't have taken this long to get him here. And I keep going back to that. And hopefully he'll be back here in January. Hopefully he'll be back here in February. Hopefully his players, the players that are on this team, will recognize that and fight for him. Because to be fair, players like Pulisic, players like Adams and McKennie and Richards and Aronson should all be in this environment saying, we want Reyna on this team. We want Luna. We want Reyna. We don't want Berhalter. We don't want that. We want this player. We want this player. And that should be what should be coming out of all these meetings and these camps. Because the players who are the ones out there on the field doing all this work are the ones that are going to live and die by their decisions. The coach has to be the one to help kind of push them through these are all professionals. This isn't like a high school game. You know, these guys you don't think that Pulisic goes in there and say, Poach, we need to get Reyna in this camp. We need Reyna. We need this. We need that. You don't think that's got to happen on some level. I can imagine it doesn't. You know, I mean, if LeBron James is doing it to general managers in basketball, I'm imagining that we're seeing it.
I think LeBron James has got a little bit more pull in the NBA than any USA
you think
player.
You think that Pulisic doesn't have pull with Pochettino?
No, I'm sure they talk, but
I'm sure he's a part of those combos. Yeah,
he's definitely a part of conversations about LeBron, and that's a different animal.
I'm just comparing superstars to superstars. But hey, let's do this. Let's take a quick step aside here, take a quick break. We come back here. We'll continue this episode here, number 191, and we'll get question of the day and so much more.
Are you ready to create unforgettable moments for your audience? NSN offers professional live streaming and full broadcast services tailored to your needs. From high-quality production to exceptional coverage, we ensure your game or event becomes a spectacle to remember. Book your next game with us today. Call 586-304-4405 to schedule your broadcast and let NSN bring the action to life like never before.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game. Going wide here for this this part of the show. I'm Jonathan Turner, Ryan Glinsky. There's Nate. But welcome back here into the show. And hey, I think it's great. We got some comments coming in. I know Mech Jackson involved in the comments. If you want to be involved in our conversation, all you got to do is get involved in the chat and ask us questions, give us your comments. I know. You know, we're talking Gio Reyna, and the reason we keep talking about Gio Reyna is because, to be fair, he is probably the only player, if we didn't have him on the roster, if he does not make this team, there could be an argument about why or why not. I think Berhalter, if he didn't make this team, I don't think we even second guess it. Okay. I mean, to be fair, prior to what we've seen from Luna, if Luna didn't make this roster, I think we go, okay, yeah, Luna didn't make it. I mean, because again, it's just like, but Gio Reyna is a player that arguably has the talent, but maybe it's the intangibles, it's the question marks that have been have arose here over the years, especially back in 2022, that have put him in a spot where if he makes this team, you understand why. If he doesn't make this team, you also understand why. But you're still mad or you're excited on both sides of that. So I think that is probably why it's the most controversial, I think, pick or lack of pick for this team. Because is there another player in the mix that we would feel this strongly about outside of Reyna?
It'd probably be a player. I feel like for me, it's Yunus Musa. Like he's been. I mean, I know why he missed obviously the summer and everything and then September, but like Musa, I know he stepped away because of physical and mental reasons for the summer, and then he made his move to Atlanta, but like, he still hasn't featured in it all. But he did say that he was going to be back for the World Cup, and it doesn't make sense that like he skipped everything and then expects to make the World Cup at the same time. So I don't know what Yunus Musa's situation is right now. I know that we have a couple more games before, the World. Obviously, we still have a handful of games before the World Cup and the tune-up games. But like Musa, that's another weird one that like we haven't seen him, but we also haven't heard a ton of. But I feel like he should be on the roster too because he played well in the last World Cup and he's been playing fine ever since then. So I don't know. Musa's another weird one for me. And Mekchek mentioned, to your point about Pulisic being LeBron James, he says, I get weird vibes from Pulisic. I don't like he's not a player's player. I guess you could kind of say that. I guess I could see that.
Yeah, it's weird because I know he grew up in a bubble. He's another kid that grew up in a bubble. His parents and family moved him on purpose to places so he could be playing soccer. I mean,
socially awkward.
There's again, we can talk about helicopter parents. I mean, his parents moved their entire family. It's almost like if you watch that King, was it the Serena Williams, the movie called The King or whatever it's called, but with Will Smith. You know, that dad, literally his entire life centered around getting the Williams sisters like to professional tennis. It almost seems like the entire world around Pulisic was to get him to professional soccer. And so everything they did, every move they made was methodical. It was strategic, get you to where you have to go so that and we'll find our jobs while we're there.
It's called King Richard, by the way.
King Richard, thank you. But it's like this, and that's exactly what that was. So what do you expect is going to happen to the kid? I mean,
well, I just think personality-wise, I don't think he's comfortable being the vocal leader, lead from the front type. I think we've seen that. I think that's, we saw Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who played with him for a little bit in that documentary, say very plainly up front, he's just not that way. Like, we're trying to get him to be that way, but that's just not the way that he is. And so I have no issue with this U.S. men's national team leading by committee. That I'm fine with that. If everybody wants to step up and do their part to lead, that's fine. I mean, I know that we call him Captain America. The reason being is because I do think from a raw talent perspective, I think he's probably the best naturalized soccer player that we've ever seen from the United States. But, is he the vocal, man in the media, the guy who always leads from the front? No, that's just not who Christian Pulisic is. I realize he grew up in a bubble, but I think some of that is nature, but also some of that is nurture. Maybe that's just not who you are as a person, and that's fine. We just have to accept that as American fans and fans of this team. He's just not going to be that type of guy. So if we have to lead by committee, if we have to rely and lean on multiple different players to lean from the front, maybe today it's this player, maybe today it's this player who steps up and does something to help lead the team in one way or the other. I'm cool with that. I just think we have to kind of accept that that's where we are, because that's just not who Pulisic is. Personality wise, that's just not who he is.
Yeah, no, I don't know how much of a personality Clint Dempsey or Landon Donovan had when they were leading the way. Like I can't remember a time where Landon Donovan was out there and like in front of the cameras speaking as clearly and as intellectually and articulating his thoughts as well as maybe we thought he was.
Dempsey, I'll disagree with you on. Landon Donovan, yes. Yeah, Landon Donovan, yes. Clint Dempsey, I'll disagree. Clint Dempsey was very vocal.
But my point, though, is that at the time, Landon Donovan was the player. Clint Dempsey was always number two as far as I was concerned as a player growing up. I always felt Landon Donovan was here. Clint was a step behind.
Yeah, until Donovan retired.
Yeah. And so, but Landon Donovan was up here. And I remember the big-time moments that Landon had. I don't remember him stepping out in front of cameras and being like this very vocal person. And so again, there are a lot of different ways that players can lead.
Now he is.
Now, obviously, he is because But I think that again I'm not judging Pulisic and how he handles himself in front of the media. I judge him how he handles himself in the field. And the thing from Pulisic that I haven't seen is actually having an impact on the game. We haven't seen really an impact from him. And granted, again, the windows have been short and far between. But he's a player that's on this roster. He's your best player. He's your best player, so he will be on this roster, so he gets the free pass. And while we're all pissed off about that, if we'd all be we'd all be yelling expletives at the screen come June if he's not on this roster because he took the summer off because he wanted to have some time with his family, whatever it might be. We'd all be pissed off at the same time. And so Reyna's not in that place. Luna's not in that place. We could go down this roster of players who's not in that. Musa is not in that position. There are probably 4 players in this roster that could get away with something like that and still be on this team come June, right? I mean, again, Matt Freese, he's earned the spot as far as I'm concerned. So if he took off a window, he's fine, right? I think he might lose his starting spot, but he's in the roster, right? You look at a player like Tyler Adams.
He's not here right now.
He's not here right now, but he's not making this roster.
What about? Because we haven't seen him in a while. And I think he's an integral part, but we haven't seen him. We also haven't seen him for his club. What about Jedi? What about Anthony Robinson? Like, we have not seen him. I think he's a really good player. I think he's integral for us. But we have not seen him in, probably that last failed Nations League, but he's been having like a nagging injury, it feels like, since then. Since the end of the Premier League season, which he was fantastic, by the way. But we have
Wasn't he back for a little
seen
bit,
him.
but then...
Huh?
Wasn't he back playing for a little bit, but then he got hurt again? Like, it's like a nagging, like, ongoing knee injury?
I don't think so, but that's another player we have not seen.
Yeah.
But he again, if he's Robinson is one of those 4.
But like I'm saying, we haven't. You talk about taking a window off. We haven't seen him. Period.
No, but my point. There's a medical thing there. Right? Didn't he have like step away for a family medical emergency, like a birth or something like that? I think it wasn't like a birth in the family, like his wife. I thought there was something like that we had in like the last one, the family medical thing that like basically leave for family. But he's one of the 4 players that we're talking about. He's safe. I mean, he's safe. I mean, like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned that.
And so again, like anything, right? If I'm looking at this from the standpoint of this is a tryout, right? Every year, you look at preseason football, right? Every year we know that as long as Jared Goff has a signed contract, he's breathing. He's made this Lions team, right? I mean, like, you could say that, right? Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they doesn't have to show the training camp. That guy's on the team. Like, I mean, like, and if he didn't show the training camp and he didn't play in the first home football game, the fan base in Kansas City would lose their shit. So you get free passes. It sounds like shit, but be the best player on your team, and guess what? You don't get a free pass. So that's how that works. Welcome to the world of sports and the world. Life's unfair. Wear a helmet. I mean, it's like so. But I think that there are players out there who can't do that. Diego Luna is one of those players.
Life's unfair. Wear a helmet.
Yeah.
That's a good line, man. I've never heard that one before.
Anyways, but it's like because so players like Luna have to earn their shit. Berhalter is has to earn it. I mean, and so there are players out there that are way better than him. And so he's going to have to show. Nate's still going wild. Life's
unfair. Wear a helmet, stupid. That's funny.
It's again. I keep coming back to this because I think it's true. It's 100% true. Is that there every year I had 90 kids show up for tryouts at my high school, and I had to cut 30 of them. I had to cut 30 kids. I mean, so. They all came trying. They all came wanting to give it their best. They all came thinking that they're the better than what they thought. And I had to go in there and say, no, you're not good enough. You're not where you need to be. I can't bring you into this environment.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. Just JT just cutting.
Well, I mean, and I was involved in every cut. I never let anyone else cut a player. It was me.
You had 90 guys try out for a varsity team?
No, 90 kids try out for our program. We had 3 programs, right? JV, varsity, JV, and freshman or JVB. And we had 89 kids show up for tryouts. And and we wanted to have rosters of 25 players. We wanted to try to keep them around 20 and 20. So we wanted to have around 60. And but yeah, I mean, we cut 30 kids, and it sucked. They all wanted to be there. I had one kid who I cut 3 consecutive years.
Did he make the team his last year?
No, didn't come back.
And
we had one kid. So it's like you're telling these kids they can't do it, or that they aren't going to make the team, and then does it instill a fire in them? I mean, and at this point, it's not the same either when you start talking about like the highest caliber player, right? I mean, think about this for a second. In what environment outside of soccer in this country do you have to try out for something, basically? I mean, think about it. Every player at the professional level is trying out. I mean, Team USA basketball, come on, guys. There's no tryout.
Pick LeBron,
come on in. Like, here you go. Like, I mean, soccer is the only one in which you are literally picking players out of a pool.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a tryout. And so, like Luna, if we were just taking the best that was available and there was no tryout, Luna wouldn't even be in this conversation. But because there is a tryout process, he gets selected and he's earning a spot based on what he's putting out there in training and practice and in games. Respect the hell out of that. Because if we just pick players based on their talent alone, like we do in every other sport for their all-star games and their all-star whatever, Olympics, we would already have Rain on this roster. We wouldn't be having to Berhalter? Out of here. Who? Like, come on now, really? Like, we're even having Berhalter?
Greg's playing again?
You know, so it's like, you know, and even here, I mean, Mekchek goes, if Gio makes the team, it could be his coming out. Luna or Berhalter aren't coming out of anything. You know, it's like, yeah, okay. I don't disagree with that statement. I mean, Reyna's been here before. Reyna was 18, and we were all thinking that Reyna was like the next Pulisic. I think we were all looking at going, this Reyna kid is like the next Pulisic.
They went down the same path. You
know, like the exact same thing. We're like, this is going to be like the next. I mean, he's got the last name. He's young. He's vibrant. He was scoring some goals early
on. Went to
Dortmund. All these things that we thought Reyna was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had this thing that kind of like, and it had nothing to do with soccer, guys.
I mean, let me list an example here. Can I list a football example that we might be able to relate to?
Rudy.
Baker Mayfield. What'd you say? What?
I said Rudy.
Oh, Rudy?
Joe Montana.
Well, you said Diego Luna. Diego Luna's about the size of Rudy, so that would make sense. But no, Baker Mayfield. Character questions, character concerns, begins his career in an organization where he's hurt and he's not succeeding, and people think he's just going to get drowned out of the NFL. And now, mind you, this is one of the most talented quarterback prospects that I've seen in my lifetime coming out of the college ranks, right? Someone that was heralded as like the next guy. And it takes him getting all the way till Tampa Bay to figure out how to actually play at a high level. And not only that, figure out all that character stuff that he was, the issues in that regard that he was dealing with. And his family is a nightmare too. Talk about nightmare families. I'm pretty sure Baker Mayfield's family stole like how much money from him? I mean, like this, all those things. And then finally he gets to Tampa Bay, and now he figures it out.
He was living in the Brown Stadium too for a while. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
man.
that's rough.
He was living.
I mean, so like there are guys who have coming of age, like a renaissance in their career, that they just figure it out. At some point, it just clicks. And so, you know, I think it's fair to think that
probably even put it
in, too.
I would even say, I mean, I think it's a great analogy. And Baker is now where he's at now, right? Remember, he didn't go right to Tampa either, right? He went someplace else first.
Went to the Rams and the Panthers.
Yeah, so it's like he kind of bounced around. Yep. And I think it's a great analogy. I mean, there's for every like Baker Mayfield, there's a Reyna. There's probably 3 or 4 we could probably go to and talk about. I think that again, you know, Reyna on talent alone should be on this roster. I don't think anyone here disagrees with that. It's the things that Reyna, the baggage, right, that comes with it, right? And let's be honest. Let's think about that, right? I mean, there are players out there that have baggage with them. I mean, we could argue that Michael Vick,
organizations, like
Michael Vick's baggage that he had, right? He came out of prison, right? And then the baggage that came with that, right? Taking that chance. I mean, there are a lot of players that have baggage that have nothing to do with their ability on the soccer field, the sports field, whatever it might be. that prevents them from going where they want to go? And is the baggage that currently is weighing down Gio Reyna enough to prevent him from making this team? Obviously, how he performs tomorrow, it's his job to dust that bag, take those bricks out of that bag and get going, right? But that's the baggage that he carries because he does have the talent. He just like Pulisic. Pulisic has a lot of talent, but we have not seen the talent, especially of late, that we would feel comfortable with him going into the World Cup window and going, oh crap, this is great. We're not seeing him at the highest level right now. We're seeing him in the highest levels in his club team, but we haven't really seen it in the U.S. side. And so that's the thing that concerns me about Pulisic. But we're over here a little bit on our window. Let's do question of the day. We're
over by a lot.
Yeah, no, we're having fun. We're having fun.
Salt Athletic, the official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off, or visit saltathletic.com today, or scan that QR code. But this one's very simple. Are the Lions cooked?
No, they're not cooked. My goodness gracious. Not cooked. They're 6-4. They've lost to 3 football teams that are really good. And they lost to 1 okay football team.
1 really bad football team.
What's the one bad football? Green
Vikings.
Bay? The Vikings?
Vikings suck.
Well, again,
how in the world did we lose to J.J. McCarthy?
But again, we lost to the Vikings and we lost to Green Bay, right? The 2 teams at the bottom of the North. And so I would argue...
We're actually one of the bottom teams in the North at the moment.
There you go.
We're third.
Yeah, see, there you go. Right, and so... No, I don't think they're cooked. I think they're losing football games to teams that are better than them, and that's how that works. But at the same time, if I look at the Vikings game, we got our asses kicked in that game. We looked like shit. We played like shit in that game. We played like shit in the Green Bay game. We played like shit in the Green Bay game. Last night, defensively, we gave up 16 points to like the best offense in this damn league. One of the best offenses in this league, won the Super Bowl last year. They're currently now 8-2. I'm not going to lose my sleep over losing to a team that's 8-2. That when we're looking at the beginning of the season at what we were and what we had lost, this is probably a game we already figured we'd be losing anyways. And so, no, I'm not thinking we're cooked at all. Now, what happens is the games you got to go out and win those games that we're supposed to win. Like next week against the loser Giants, if we don't win that game, then we're cooked. I'll tell you that right now. If we don't win that game,
we are cooked. I'll tell you that.
So that's all I'm going to say. So, no, we're not cooked as of right now. But next week, if we don't beat the Giants, the shitty Giants, no, thank you. Go ahead, Nate.
No, I think they disappear against any team with a pulse so far this year, and I think that's really troubling to me. I think their offensive line is struggling. Like I talked about, the days of that O-line just going out and bullying people is gone. That doesn't exist anymore, right? So now we have to find more creative, unique ways to move the ball down the field. But I think our play calling on offense was just terrible. Now, I will agree with you on the fact that the Eagles probably have the best defense in the NFL. They are first in many different categories in that way, so it's going to be really hard to move the football against that team. But I think when you kind of fall apart against, squads that will be in the fight to go win a Super Bowl when it's all said and done, it's not necessarily a ringing endorsement for this Lions team. So do I think we're cooked? No. Do I think we will make the playoffs? I do think we'll make the playoffs, but I don't think this team's winning a Super Bowl. I don't think this team's coming close to winning a Super Bowl. So if we're talking about expectations,
Listen here, Debbie Downer. We're winning a Super Bowl this year, damn it.
No,
that's it. We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay, all of our players
if
back.
If you set your expectations down here, you'll never be disappointed, JT. Just set them as low as you can, and then anything else out that's a surprise.
Hey, in Madden 25 or 26, I win the Super Bowl every time. I just want to say that, right? With the Lions.
That's fair. On rookie?
Oh, man. Anyways, that does wrap up our Monday edition of Inside the Game. Nate and Ryan will be all by themselves here tomorrow, as I will be traveling to Tampa Bay to partake in the U.S. men's national team game against Uruguay. I'm excited about that. So, but anyways, I'll be back Wednesday. They'll be back tomorrow morning. You've been watching number 191 here, 192 coming your way here tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on the National Soccer Network. But from all of us here at Inside the Game, that's Ryan Glinsky. That's Nathan Wangler. I'm Jonathan Turner. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on Inside the Game.
From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.